Let me start by shaking your mind awake. Ready? You are undefeated. Seriously, think about it. Every disaster you thought would finish you, every heartbreak you thought would break you, every dark night where you whispered, I can't take this anymore. You took it. You're still here. Breathing, listening, surviving. Your track record is flawless. And yet, you don't act like it. You act like you're fragile glass. You tiptoe through life like the wrong move will shatter you into pieces. The truth? You're not fragile. You're forged. Every scar, every failure, every punch life has thrown your way has turned you into steel. But the problem is you keep forgetting it. So let's fix that today. This is not going to be another fluffy motivational speech. I'm not here to pat you on the back and say, everything will be okay. I'm here to wake you up to the strength you already carry. And I promise, by the end of this, you'll see yourself differently. Because you are stronger than you act. Chapter 1. The illusion of weakness. We live in a strange world. We have more comfort than any humans in history. We can order food without leaving the couch. We can send a message across the planet in 1 second. We can survive winters without even putting on a coat inside the house. And yet, people are more anxious, more depressed, and more fragile than ever. Why? Because comfort creates the illusion of weakness. You were built for survival in wild landscapes, hunting, running, fighting, enduring storms. But when your biggest daily battle is fighting the urge to scroll TikTok instead of finishing an email, you start to believe you're weak. That's the trick. It's not that you lost strength. It's that you forgot you had it. It's like a lion raised in a cage. Feed him steak every day, make sure he never has to hunt, and eventually he forgets he's the king of the jungle. That's us. We've been caged by comfort. And then, when life punches us, when we lose a job, face rejection, or deal with heartbreak, we panic. We fold. We act like we're not built for this. But we are. We've always been. Weakness is just a mask strength wears when it forgets who it is. Chapter 2. Proof hidden in your past. Want proof? Look backward. Think of a time in your life when you thought, I won't make it through this. Maybe it was the night you lost someone you loved. Maybe it was the morning you checked your bank account and realized you couldn't cover rent. Maybe it was that relationship ending, or the exam you thought you'd fail, or the mistake that left you humiliated. But here's the truth. You did make it. You're still here. You didn't just survive, you adapted. You became wiser, tougher, sharper. I'll give you a story. There was a woman I knew, we'll call her Sarah. She lost her business in a single month. One moment she had employees, clients, income. The next, she had nothing. She thought it was over. For weeks, she was paralyzed. But then she started over. Small steps, freelance jobs, learning new skills. Within 2 years, she had rebuilt not the same business, but a stronger one. And she told me something powerful. I thought losing my business destroyed me, but it didn't. It revealed me. And that's the truth about strength. It's not created in the easy times, it's revealed in the hard ones. Look at your own past. You've already walked through fire, and you came out carrying lessons. That's proof. Chapter 3. The lies your mind tells you. But if you're so strong, why don't you act like it? Here's why. Your brain is a liar. Your brain evolved to keep you alive, not to keep you confident. Back in the wild, every rustle in the bushes could be a tiger. Every shadow might mean danger. So your brain became a master at imagining threats. Fast forward to today. There are no tigers in your office, but your brain still fires alarms over small stuff. A text left unseen, a frown from your boss, a bill in the mail. And suddenly, you feel like your whole world is collapsing. It's like living with an overprotective roommate. You're trying to toast bread, and the smoke alarm starts screaming as if the whole house is burning. That's your brain. Loud, dramatic, but wrong. Science backs this up. When you imagine a threat, your body reacts almost the same as if it were real, which means stressing about a typo in your email can make your body react like you're facing a bear in the woods. And if you're constantly listening to those false alarms, of course, you'll act weak. But here's the twist. Once you know your brain exaggerates danger, you can stop buying the lie. You can pause and say, wait, is this a real fire or just burnt toast? 9 times out of 10, it's toast. And the moment you stop reacting like you're fragile, you start acting like the strong creature you are. Chapter 4. The reframe. Try me versus why me. Most people, When life smacks them in the face, ask the same question. Why me? Why did this happen to me? Why is life so unfair? Why can't things just be easy for once? It's a natural reaction, but it's also the reaction that keeps you stuck. Because why me is the question of a victim. It assumes the world is picking on you, that you're cursed, that you're powerless. And when you act powerless, you forget the strength you actually have. So here's the shift. Stop asking why me and start saying try me. Imagine life throws a curveball. Most people crumble. They cry, they rant, they sink into their couch. But the people who grow, they're the ones who roll their shoulders back, look at the storm and say, all right, try me, let's see what I'm made of. It sounds small, but the psychology is huge. When you say why me, your brain looks for reasons you're cursed. When you say try me, your brain flips into problem-solving mode. You stop focusing on the problem and start focusing on your power. I'll give you an example. Years ago, I got rejected from a job I thought was perfect for me. I was furious. Why me? I thought. I worked so hard for this. Why did they say no? I sulked for weeks, but then almost by accident, I started saying, fine, try me. Let's see if I can create something better. And that's when I started a side hustle. That side hustle turned into something way bigger than that job would have ever been. Looking back, that rejection wasn't a curse, it was the spark. Next time life knocks you down, don't ask, why me? Smile, dust yourself off, and say, try me. That's the moment you stop acting weak and start acting strong. Chapter 5, Building Strength Daily. Strength isn't something you suddenly find in a dramatic Hollywood moment. It's something you build, brick by brick, in your everyday habits. Think about a wall. You don't build it by throwing one giant stone down. You build it by stacking small bricks every single day, until one day you look up and realize you've built a fortress. Strength works the same way. Here are the bricks. 1. Do hard things on purpose. Most people avoid discomfort like it's poison. But the truth is, discomfort is where strength is born. Take a cold shower. Go for a run when you don't feel like it. Say no to junk food. These small choices teach your brain, I can handle discomfort. I'm stronger than my feelings, too. Keep promises to yourself. If you tell yourself you'll read 5 pages, read them. If you say you'll wake up at 7, get up. Every time you keep a promise, you reinforce the belief that you're strong and dependable. Break those promises and you train yourself to feel weak. 3. Face your fears in small doses. Fear is like a muscle. Avoid it and it grows. Face it and it shrinks. If you're scared of rejection, ask someone for feedback. If you're scared of speaking up, make one comment in a meeting. Tiny acts of courage build massive inner strength over time. 4. Remember your wins. We forget how much we've survived. Start a journal where you record moments you overcame something hard. Then, when life hits again, read it. Remind yourself, I've been through worse. I can handle this too. Strength isn't glamorous. It's not Instagram quotes or cinematic speeches. It's daily work, small choices, quiet victories, and the good news? You already know how to do it. You've been doing it your whole life. Chapter 6, The Gift of Struggle. Here's a paradox most people miss. Your struggles are gifts in disguise. I know, it doesn't feel like it in the moment. When you're drowning in bills, when your heart's shattered, when everything feels heavy, it doesn't feel like a gift. It feels like punishment. But here's the truth. Struggle is resistance training for the soul. Think about muscles. If you never stress them, they never grow. If you only lift feathers, your body stays weak. Muscles grow when you push against resistance. Life works the same way. Struggle is the weight, and the more you push against it, the stronger you become. The strongest people you know are not the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who went through hell and came back carrying lessons. They're the ones who were forged in fire. Take Thomas Edison. Before inventing the light bulb, he failed thousands of times. Each failure was a struggle. Each failure could have broken him, but instead, he treated struggle like training, and because of that, he gave the world light. Or think about athletes. The ones who dominate are not the ones who never lose. They're the ones who lose, get back up, train harder, and come back stronger. Their losses become fuel. Now bring it back to you. Every time life has knocked you down, you've had two options: collapse or grow. And whether you realize it or not, you've grown. That heartbreak, it gave you empathy. That failure, it gave you resilience. That rejection gave you redirection. The truth is, your struggles are not proof of your weakness. They're the exact reason you're stronger than you act. Chapter 7, The Science of Resilience. Here's something wild. Scientists have spent decades studying what makes some people collapse under pressure while others thrive. Why can two people go through the same disaster, say, losing their job, and one spirals into depression while the other uses it as fuel to reinvent themselves? The difference is resilience. Resilience isn't about avoiding pain. It's about how quickly and how effectively you bounce back from it. And it's not just something you're born with, it's something you can train. Studies on soldiers show this clearly. After combat, some veterans developed PTSD, while others came back with what psychologists call post-traumatic growth. They didn't just survive. They came home more grateful, more focused, more alive. What made the difference? Not that one group was tougher by nature, but that they had tools, support systems, reframing techniques, habits that helped them process stress instead of being crushed by it. One of the simplest tools is meaning making. Viktor Frankl, who survived Nazi concentration camps, wrote that the people who endured unimaginable suffering were often those who found meaning in it. They told themselves, I must survive so I can tell this story, or I must endure so I can help others. Purpose gave them strength that the human body alone couldn't provide. And here's the kicker. Your brain literally rewires when you practice resilience. Neuroscience shows that when you reframe a negative event as a challenge instead of a curse, your brain calms down its fear response and activates problem-solving regions. You stop spiraling and start adapting. So resilience isn't magic, it's biology plus mindset. And if you've survived this far, you already have the wiring. You just need to train it like a muscle. And speaking of training, let me slip this in naturally. We're building something special for people who actually want to practice this stuff, not just hear about it. A private club, a space where people who are serious about upgrading their lives can connect, share tools, and hold each other accountable. It's not for everyone, but if you're tired of acting weaker than you are, this is where you'll want to be. Because strength multiplies in the right community. Chapter 8, Real-Life Warriors. Sometimes the best proof of strength isn't found in studies, it's found in people. Ordinary humans who acted with extraordinary resilience. Let me introduce you to Wilma Rudolph. Born prematurely, she weighed just 4 pounds. As a child, she contracted polio and doctors told her she'd never walk again. Imagine that, being told your legs will never carry you. But Wilma refused to accept that. Through years of painful therapy, she not only learned to walk, she became one of the fastest women on earth, winning 3 Olympic gold medals in track and field. From paralyzed to unstoppable. That's strength. Or take Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years in prison. 27 years. Most people can't handle a week of isolation. But Mandela came out not bitter, not broken, but more powerful than ever. He didn't just survive prison. He transformed it into a crucible that forged a leader capable of uniting a fractured nation. And let's not forget Malala Yousafzai. Shot in the head by extremists for daring to go to school, she didn't retreat into fear. She stood taller, became an international symbol of courage, and won the Nobel Peace Prize at just 17. That's not weakness. That's strength refusing to be silenced. Now you might think, but Joe, those are extraordinary people. I'm just normal wrong. They're proof that extraordinary resilience is possible inside ordinary humans. And you're an ordinary human too. The raw materials are the same. The only difference is whether you act like you're strong or whether you hide it. Chapter 9. Habits that forge inner strength. Let's get practical again. Because strength isn't just about heroic moments. It's about what you do on Tuesday morning when you'd rather stay in bed. Here are some habits that literally train your brain and body to act strong. 1. Stress inoculation. Think of this like a vaccine. Instead of avoiding stress completely, expose yourself to small doses. Take on challenges slightly outside your comfort zone. Over time, your tolerance grows. 2. Physical training. There's a reason exercise is linked to mental health. Lifting weights, running, pushing your body, it teaches your brain, I can endure. That carries over into every other area of life. Third, gratitude practice. Sounds cheesy, but it's science. Gratitude rewires your brain to look for resources instead of focusing only on threats. That shift makes you act less fragile and more resourceful. Fourth, Stoic journaling. Ancient philosophers like Marcus Aurelius wrote nightly reflections on challenges they faced. Write down, what tested me today? How did I respond? How could I respond stronger tomorrow? That habit builds awareness and resilience. 5, connection. We act weaker when we isolate. But when you lean on others, your load feels lighter. Call a friend. Share your struggles. Strength spreads through connection. The truth is, strength isn't found in a single moment of glory. It's in the small, unglamorous routines that slowly rewire you into someone who doesn't just survive storms, but walks into them, saying, try me. Chapter 10. Training your mind like a muscle. Here's something most people don't realize. Your mind works just like your body. You wouldn't expect to walk into a gym, lift a heavy barbell once, and suddenly be ripped. Strength takes reps. Day after day, set after set, brick after brick. And your mental strength is no different. But here's the mistake most people make. They only train their mind when life punches them. Imagine a boxer who only practices dodging punches during the fight, never in training. That's how most people live. They ignore mental training until crisis hits, and then they wonder why they crumble. Training your mind means practicing resilience every day, visualization. Athletes do this all the time. Before a game, they close their eyes and imagine making the shot, running the play, lifting the trophy. But here's the hack. You can do the same for life. Visualize yourself staying calm during conflict. Visualize yourself pushing through a setback. The brain doesn't perfectly distinguish between imagined and real reps, which means mental rehearsal is practice. Deliberate stress. Ever heard of Navy SEAL training? They deliberately put themselves through chaos, freezing water, exhaustion, sensory overload, so that when real chaos hits, they're calm. You don't need to do SEAL camp, but you can simulate small stresses. Wake up early. Delay gratification. Push through boredom without picking up your phone. These tiny reps make your mind tougher. Mindfulness. I know the word sounds like something your yoga teacher whispers while lighting incense, but it's actually one of the most powerful mental reps you can do. Sit quietly. Notice your thoughts. Don't fight them. Don't chase them. Just observe. That practice trains you to see fear and stress without being controlled by it. That's strength. So the next time you're scrolling on your phone thinking you need motivation, remember this. Strength is not built in the moment you need it. It's built in the moments you don't. Train your mind like a muscle, and you won't just act strong. You'll be strong. Chapter 11. Emotional strength. Handling heartbreak and loss. If physical pain is like a punch, emotional pain is like a slow, grinding ache that never seems to leave. And yet, surviving emotional pain is one of the clearest proofs that you're stronger than you act. Think about heartbreak. That first breakup that made you swear you'd never feel okay again. You thought your chest would never stop hurting, that you'd never laugh again. But here you are. Maybe scarred, maybe wiser, but alive. That's strength. Or think about grief. Losing someone you love is like losing a part of yourself. And still, people carry on. They cry, they break, but they keep moving. That doesn't mean the pain goes away. It means they learn to live with it. That's resilience on the deepest level. Psychologists call this integration. Instead of pushing pain away, you weave it into your story. You don't deny it, you carry it. And carrying pain while still living fully is one of the greatest demonstrations of human strength. Here's a story. A man named Chris lost his wife in a car accident. For a year, he was crushed. He barely left his house. But slowly, he began writing letters to her. Every night, he'd write what he wished he could tell her. Over time, those letters turned into a book that helped thousands of other people with grief. What once felt like the end of his life became the beginning of his mission. That's emotional strength. Not pretending you're fine, but refusing to let pain stop you from living. So if you've ever lost, if you've ever been broken and you're still breathing, congratulations. You've proven your strength already. Chapter 12. Physical strength as a gateway to mental strength. Here's something most people don't realize. Your body and mind are teammates. Strength in one spills over into the other, which means if you want to stop acting weak, sometimes the fastest way is to start with your body. Go for a run. Lift something heavy. Push your body to sweat, to burn, to resist. What happens? Your brain starts to shift. You think, if I can push through that, maybe I can push through this problem too. Physical strength is a gateway drug to mental strength. There's science behind it. Exercise increases endorphins and serotonin, the chemicals that make you feel good. It lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, which means every time you move your body, you're literally telling your brain, relax. You're capable, you're strong, and let's be honest, when you see yourself getting physically stronger, when you look in the mirror and realize you can do something today you couldn't do a month ago, it changes how you see yourself. You stop acting fragile because you have daily proof that you're not. I'll give you an example. A woman I knew, we'll call her Anna, used to describe herself as anxious, timid, weak. Then she started strength training. At first, she could barely lift the bar, but week after week, she got stronger. Soon she was deadlifting her body weight. And guess what? Her anxiety started shrinking. She told me, when I realized I could pick up 200 pounds, suddenly asking my boss for a raise didn't feel so scary. That's the beauty of physical training. It's not just muscles, it's confidence. It's proof. It's a daily reminder that you're stronger than you act. Chapter 13. Community, surrounding yourself with lions. Here's a fact most people underestimate. Your strength doesn't just come from inside you, it comes from around you. Think of it like this. Drop a wolf into the wilderness alone, and survival is hard. Drop a wolf into a pack, and suddenly it's unstoppable. Humans are the same. Alone, we can crumble. Together, we can move mountains. But here's the trap. Most people surround themselves with house cats when they should be running with lions. If your circle is filled with people who complain, give up easily, and act fragile, guess what you'll act like? You'll mirror them. Weakness spreads. On the flip side, when you surround yourself with people who chase growth, who lean into discomfort, who refuse to stay down, that becomes your normal. Strength spreads too. I'll give you a story. A man named Mike used to be terrified of public speaking. He avoided it like the plague. But then he joined a group where every week members gave short speeches to each other. At first, he shook like a leaf. But surrounded by people who pushed him, encouraged him, and modeled courage, he got better. Within a year, he was leading workshops. Alone, he would have stayed silent. In community, he found his voice. That's the power of the right people. They don't just support you, they stretch you. They remind you of the strength you forget. And that's exactly why I'm building something special. We're putting together a private club, a space for people who are done acting weaker than they are, a space for people who want to upgrade their lives, sharpen their minds, and surround themselves with others who refuse to shrink. It's not about hype. It's about building a pack of lions. And when you run with lions, you stop acting like a house cat. Chapter 14. Rejection, failure, and why they're secret weapons. Let's talk about two things people hate the most: rejection and failure. Most folks treat them like proof they're weak. You ask someone out, they say no, and suddenly you think you're unattractive. You pitch an idea at work, it gets shut down, and suddenly you think you're worthless. But here's the twist. Rejection and failure are not proof of weakness. They're proof of effort. They mean you tried. They mean you swung at the ball instead of watching it pass by. Every strong person in history collected rejections like badges of honor. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. Oprah was fired from her first TV job. J.K. Rowling was rejected by a dozen publishers before Harry Potter exploded. Imagine if they had taken those rejections as final verdicts instead of stepping stones. Failure is a teacher. Rejection is feedback. They hurt, yes, but pain is part of training. Just like lifting weights tears muscle fibers, so they can grow back stronger, rejection tears your ego, so your resilience can grow. Here's a practical way to reframe it. Instead of saying, I failed, say, I'm in training, because that's what it is. Every failure, every no, every door slammed in your face, it's not weakness, it's weight. And the more you push against it, the stronger you become. So stop treating rejection as proof you're broken. Start treating it as proof you're building. Chapter 15, Everyday Courage. When we think of strength, we picture epic moments. Warriors on battlefields, athletes breaking records, heroes saving lives. But the truth is, the strongest kind of courage is the kind nobody applauds. The quiet, everyday kind. Getting out of bed on a morning when depression whispers, "Stay down." Walking into work the day after humiliation. Showing up for your kids even when your heart is heavy. Choosing to forgive instead of holding a grudge. These moments don't get headlines. Nobody cheers. But they are the clearest proof that you're stronger than you act. I'll give you a story. A single mom I knew, we'll call her Lisa, worked 2 jobs. Every night she was exhausted, but she still found time to read her kids' bedtime stories. Nobody saw her strength. There were no medals, no applause, but her children grew up knowing love, stability, and resilience because of her. That's everyday courage. And here's the thing. You don't need to fight battles to prove your strength. You prove it every day you keep going when it would be easier to stop. Every time you choose responsibility over escape. Every time you show up, even quietly, even without reward. That's why I say, you're stronger than you act, because most of your courage doesn't look like courage. It looks like ordinary life. But make no mistake, it's extraordinary. You have survived 100% of your worst days. Every heartbreak, every failure, every sleepless night, you made it through, which means your track record for survival is perfect, undefeated. That's not weakness, that's strength. The problem is, you don't act like it. You keep telling yourself stories about fragility. You keep treating yourself like glass when you're forged steel. You keep shrinking when life asks you to rise. But the truth is, you've already proven yourself, again and again. Every scar is proof. Every setback is proof. Every time you thought you couldn't keep going but did anyway, that's proof. You don't need to wait for some future moment of greatness to declare yourself strong. You already are, right now, today. So the next time life knocks you down, don't say, "Why me?" Say, "Try me." Stand up taller, look back at your history. Remember what you've already endured, and walk into tomorrow with the confidence of someone who knows the truth. You are stronger than you act. And hey, before we wrap this up, let me say this. I keep this channel running and keep dropping these messages thanks to the people who support. If you've ever wanted to buy me a coffee for yelling wisdom into your ears, there's a donation button here. Small or big, it actually helps more than you think. But even if you never click it, I want you to do one thing. The next time you doubt yourself, pause, take a breath, and remind yourself, I'm undefeated. I'm proof of strength. I am stronger than I act. Because that's the truth, and the world deserves to see it.